Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
Here we go, turn it up, let it start. From block to block, we snatching hearts and jacking marks. And the punk police can't fade me a minute. We can have this some crazy. But right now I got my mind set up. Looking down the barrel of a gun, get up. Till it's time to make the payback back to my brothers on the block. Better stay strapped, right? And accept no substitutes. I bring truth to the youth, tell the youth from my old school. Oh no, I won't turn the other cheek. Case you can't see us when we run the other week. Now we got them in the smash, blast. How long will it last till the road get more cash? Until then, raise up till I got black men blaze up. Like some mess, don't stress, test. I'm giving but be thankful that you're living blessed. Much love to my brothers in the pen. See it when I free it, if not when they shut me in. Once again, it's an all-out strap. Keep your hands in your gap, now your boys watch the back. In the alleys, I'm counting in my town. Got mess with the back and the back with the help. Scream if you feel me. See it clearly, you're too near me. I'll let you hear me. I'll let you hear me.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta.
What is going on, everybody? What is happening? What is going on? Listen, this is like, I'm so excited right now, man, because like we are right here. We right here on the cusp of the start of the 2014-2015 NFL season, man. I'm stoked. I don't know about you guys. I am feeling real good about this. We had our all-season finale of TeamBoydTV live last Wednesday night, and I gotta tell you, fellas, I had a blast. It was the most fun time I think I can remember doing that show, man. Like, it was so many people sending tweets. There was so many people interacting with the show in all the different ways that you guys can interact with the show. Oh, it was crazy. I thought for a minute. Now I don't know. I had to go back and check, but I thought maybe TeamBoydTV Live was trending on Twitter. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But it felt like it. You know what I mean? It really did. It really felt like we were trending on Twitter. It was great. We had a whole lot of tweets. I had a count right after the show. I forget what it was, but I thought it was somewhere around 97, between 97 and 115, depending on if I count like the ones that were directed at Glass and JB. But yo, it was fun. I had a blast. We got to the end of the show talking about the Carolina Panthers. Everybody kind of jumped on me a little bit. They gave Carolina Panthers a hard way to go. But you know what, though? It was all love and it was all fun. And I had a wonderful time, man. I thought it was good. Like we had so much fun doing that. It was ridiculous, man. It was some crazy stuff. But I definitely had a lot of fun doing it. So again, it's the start of the the season. Like this Thursday, we get our first game. We get the Seattle Seahawks World Champions versus the Green Bay Packers. Man, come on, how dope is that? How dope is that? How dope is that? That is like the most dope thing I've seen in a long time. I am so ready. So listen, today though, on the show, since I'm so stoked and so excited about doing, we got Game Time. Game Time premieres tonight. In case you guys didn't get a chance to see it last year, some of the new subscribers that we got that just came on board during the off season, the flagship TeamBoydTV program returns tonight at 10 p.m. TeamBoydTV Game Time, me and the lovely Vernie B. Because if you see Vernie B on YouTube, then it must be football season. So she comes out of hibernation and out of hiding. Good stuff, man. I'm excited about that. Today we're talking about the new Roger Goodell issued NFL disciplinary policy. And it's been like a little bit of a controversy with it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna discuss it for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be a very long show tonight. I saw I think it was last Wednesday or last Thursday when the policy was released, and we all found out about it. And then I think a couple days later, San Francisco 49ers guy got himself caught up. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to just talk about it for a few minutes. And I'm pumped. I'm really, really, really super excited for Game Time tonight. So I don't know. I just needed to get my Week 1 Shield podcast done, and besides, you guys do such a good job of supporting what we do over here, and it's awesome. I want to apologize for the guys who were trying to comment during the stream last week on Team Boyd TV Live on TeamBoydTV.com. The comment box was a little bit jacked up. I don't know what was going on with that. Look, that's why I use domain.com, because I don't know nothing about no web design, man. But I look like I got it rectified. I'm looking at the, so it looks like it's good right now. Justin is here again. He's always there. He's always on TeamBoydTV.com. So it looks like the 49ers piling up those domestic, and we're going to talk about it, Justin. We're going to get into it, bruh. So like always, you guys can use the hashtag NFL Shield if you're going to send your tweets to the show. And of course, you can leave comments on the YouTube page, or if you're watching like my boy Justin Marqua, if you're watching on TeamBoydTV.com, you can use the comment box that's over there, and that kind of thing. The tweets that come through will be shown live on the podcast tonight, and that kind of thing. So listen, man, I don't want to, because I can sit here and talk all day, but I don't want to, I want to go ahead and get this done, and we're going to talk about this and discuss these things. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first break, and we come back and we'll dive right into this thing. All right, let's do that. Team Boyd TV Turbo is sponsored by domain.com. In today's connected world, it's kind of hard to be heard or to get noticed. That's why an online presence is so vital. If you have a brand to promote, relying on social media just doesn't cut it these days. Although social media is a powerful way to build a following, there is nothing like having your own hosted website. That's where domain.com comes in. Domain.com offers the very best in web hosting services, and with plans starting at just under $4 a month, it's super affordable as well. And now, because you guys are awesome Team Boyd TV Turbo subscribers, you can get yourself a sweet combo deal if you go to TeamBoydTV.com and click the domain.com button. Once you click the button, you get redirected to the domain.com promo page, where once you sign up and use the promo code DOMFREE, that's DOMFREE, you can get yourself a free domain name. That's a free website that you can use to build your audience. And domain.com web hosting is packed with bonus features too. Check this out. All web hosting plans come with $100 Google AdWords bonus, $50 Yahoo/Bing search marketing credit, $50 in Facebook advertising, a free yellowpages.com listing, and get this, a free toll-free phone number if you live in the U.S. And if you're like me and you know nothing about website design, domain.com even has the awesomely easy drag-and-drop site builder to get you up and running right away. So what are you waiting for? There's no excuse not to get your online presence rolling right now. Remember, go to TeamBoydTV.com, click the domain.com button, and use the promo code DOMFREE to get your free domain to use for your website today.
Two principles at play here, and one is, I'll speak for myself, I'll speak for the 49ers, we will not tolerate domestic violence. Second principle is going to be, we're firm believers in due process. And I ask for your understanding on those two principles.
Understood. And, we know it's going to be an awkward situation given legal implications and given the intensely personal nature of the arrest. Maybe you can take it on that first thread, and speak about your philosophy, your moral philosophy about something like this, whether it's Ray McDonald or whether it's somebody else in the NFL. Just how repulsive is it to you, or how repugnant, and how much room do you have for forgiveness on something like this?
Well, I'll be very clear. I mean, you're asking me how I feel about domestic violence. I can be very clear on that. Is if someone physically abuses a woman and or physically or mentally abuses or hurts a child, then there's no understanding. There's no tolerance for that.
Is the kind of thing where you wouldn't want a person like that on your team? Yes, we would not. Okay, well,
we can be very.
Yeah, there's that quote that was resuscitated from Dante Whitner in 2012. Do you stand by that? It said, Whitner said, he said we can do anything in the world. We can come talk to him and he'll forgive us, except put our hands on women. If you put your hand on a woman, then you're done, in his book. Was that an accurate representation of you by Whitner?
You don't need a source to know how I feel. I am strongly opposed to domestic violence or violence to children. Yes.
Yeah.
Will not be tolerated. So you don't need to quote a source. I can tell you exactly and be perfectly clear how I feel about that.
So it's an awkward time then. How much of this is going to affect the team's preparation going into the week?
Well, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I mean, this is a legal matter, and there's just not. I'm not here to tell you what happened because I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I think we all owe to everyone involved the ability for due process to take place. And all the questions that you could ask me, I mean, I understand why you're asking, but this is a process that has to be conducted, has to be concluded, and then we'll be in a better place and time to have this discussion and or make judgments.
I had a Jim Harbaugh video that I wanted to play. You know what I mean? I did. I had a Jim Harbaugh video because Jim Harbaugh was one of the main ones who kind of had something to say about what was going on with the rule changes. But apparently, my streaming software didn't want to act right, so I had to kind of mute everything. It kept looping. I don't know. It was weird. But basically, what Jim Harbaugh was saying is that he has zero tolerance, no tolerance for domestic violence. He is one of the coaches that kind of came through early and said, "Look, I'm not playing around with this. Like y'all get in trouble for all kind of stuff, but if you're a San Francisco 49er, that one domestic violence crap, that stupid stuff, it would not be tolerated if you want to be a member of the squad." And that's pretty much what he says. Now, this is what the actual story said. Let me see if I can turn this down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so listen. Let me check this real quick. He said, this is what Jim Harbaugh said. This was what the story said. It said, 2 days after defensive end Ray McDonald was arrested on felony domestic violence charges, San Francisco 49ers coach Jim Harbaugh told KNBR AM on Tuesday that the organization will offer no tolerance for abuse. "I'll be very clear," Harbaugh said, per CSN Bay Area's Matt Miyako. "If you ask me how I feel about domestic violence, I can be very clear about that. If someone physically abuses a woman and or physically or mentally abuses or hurt a child, there is no understanding. There is no tolerance for that." I like it. I do. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm glad that somebody's coach, and one of these coaches, I'm glad one of these coaches are one of the ones that's stepping up and saying, "Hey, listen, this is look, this is one of the things that we kind of learn as kids. You know what I mean? We kind of learn this as kids. And that you can't be smacking around women and things like that, and so on and so forth. And then, and it's so weird. You're a public figure like an NFL player, and you getting caught up in some nonsense like this. I think it's ridiculous, honestly. And even one of my boys got caught up in this whole mess. Greg Hardy. To me, I think that is. I actually think that's worse than the dudes that go out and smoke weed or whatever, like the LeGarrette Blount, Le'Veon Bell, Josh Gordon. I think that the domestic violence part is a little bit more destructive because not only are you kind of hurting yourself and your way of living and that kind of thing. You're hurting your family, you're hurting another person by doing all of that. If you're smoking weed and stuff, it's true, it still has the same kind of ripples, but it's not direct. You know what I'm saying? So you smoke a lot of weed and you blow all your money on crack or whatever. Yeah, it kind of hurts your family and everything. But when you punch them and you beat them and you drag them unconscious out of elevators and stuff, that's a whole different thing. A whole different thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I don't get it. And so that's why it sparked the debate a couple weeks ago when the ruling came down on Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice, right? So, he got suspended for 2 games, I think. And this was before the Josh Gordon ruling came down. Now everybody kind of knew what was going to happen with Josh Gordon. We've been talking about it for months. We knew what was going to happen. But everybody was outraged that Ray Rice, only got away with being suspended for 2 games, and people were pissed off about it. They were very upset, and because domestic violence is ugly, man. And we still don't know what's going on with Greg Hardy, and we followed his case on Twitter, and all that kind of stuff, and and it was ugly too, and there was guns involved, and then this stuff is just crazy. I don't understand how NFL players get caught up in this kind of stuff. It boggles my mind. It really does. I have no idea how this keep happening, right? And then, the story goes on to say, asked if the 49ers would allow a player guilty of domestic violence to stay on the roster, Harbaugh answered, we will not. We can be very clear. There is going to be 2 principles at play here. And that's what he was saying before the video got all glitchy and whatnot. He said there are going to be 2 principles at play here. And one is, I'll speak for myself and I'll speak for the 49ers. We will not tolerate domestic violence. The second principle, we're firm believers in due process, and I ask for you to understand and know the principle. So, look, basically saying, look, we don't get down. We don't get down with the domestic violence, but if one of our guys get caught up in some stuff like that, first of all, we're going to handle our business, and then, of course, you know, the court system, you know, we believe in due process. So, you know, you can't just be, you know, saying people are guilty and, you know, you don't know the whole story. And I feel him on that. I do. You know what I'm saying? So that's sort of happened. So you know, like this happened a couple of days after Roger Goodell put out this new policy, this new reworked domestic violence policy for all NFL players and employees and people who work in the facilities, coaches, and any employee of the NFL. And it was pretty cut and dry. They were pretty much saying they were pretty much done with all this, right? So listen, it goes like this. It says in this conduct policy here, it says that all persons associated with the NFL are required to avoid, quote unquote, conduct detrimental to the integrity of and public confidence in the National Football League. This requirement applies to players, coaches, other team employees, owners, game officials, and all others privileged to work in the National Football League. That's everybody. Everybody. You wear a NFL patch or logo or something, you know, and you get a check from the National Football League, you better be careful. You know what I'm saying? So what it breaks down to is like, you know, and this is where it gets all gray and muddy. And you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit more maybe later on tonight and then possibly on TeamBoydTV Live as well. But I'm just kind of giving an overview because, you know, we're going to talk about it on the other shows as well. So since this is the first show of the week, I wanted to go ahead and bring it out. But basically, you know, it was saying first offenders pretty much would be looking at, you know, just to set the tone, just to make sure that everybody on the same page, and it won't be none of this wishy-washy 2 games here, 4 games here, you know, that kind of thing. Players will be subject to a 6-game suspension, you know, and or I don't think it's or. I think it's and or $500,000 fine. Was a $300,000 fine. I gotta look it up and see. But you get suspended for damn near half the season, and you get hit for damn near $500,000 for wanting to slap your girl around. Make people want to think twice about that. You know, it make people think twice about walking away from a situation instead of kind of getting involved in it. You feel what I'm saying? You know, this goes back to the stuff that we was talking about with Greg Hardy a couple months ago when we was talking about it during the summer. You know, okay, what do you say, Justin? He says, at least there's no evidence and Hardy. And you know what? I believe because that's good because, you know, well, the only evidence they really had was the police report and the testimony from the Holder chick, you know, and I don't think they had any proof that he had pushed her onto a couch or something with a bunch of guns on it. But that's the testimony she gave to the court, and I think that's pretty much why he got convicted and he found guilty of what it was, you know, whatever. But you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, though, as fans, this is what we got to look forward to. We need to, you know, what we can look forward to is maybe now players will say, hey, let me chill, let me, you know, like you acting all wild and stuff. I need to chill, you know what I'm saying? And maybe we'll start seeing this kind of, because I mean, it was so many things I can think about. I can think about the stuff that went on with Dez Bryant. Was it last year, the year, or was his rookie season? Something like that. There was Greg Hardy. Then there was Ray Rice, and then even be back further with the whole Ben Roethlisberger stuff. And I mean, this has been going on for quite a while. And you know, and I don't know if it's blown out of proportion because it's NFL, and the NFL is the biggest sport in America, and it has a lot of eyeballs on it. I don't know if it's that, or is it just dudes are just feeling like, you know, I'm just gonna slap these broads. I don't know what it really is. I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't tell you. You know what I mean? I have no idea. You know, but you know, it has to stop. You know, and I think that this is a step in the right direction. Now, a lot of people, you know, and I guess I'll say it after we come back from the break, because we're coming from the break, and then I'll give you guys my final little take and stuff, because I got some. I feel, because like people were saying things about Roger Goodell and a lot of things that he had been implementing, and you know how everybody's talking about Roger Goodell was the devil and he was single-handedly destroying the game of professional football. I got my own little take on that. You know what I'm saying? I feel my own type of way about that. And so what we'll do is We'll take a social media break, and then we'll wrap this podcast up. I figure this one will be about 30, 35 minutes long, and then like I'm going to have to do some heavy-duty editing to get rid of that little piece with the glitch in it. But anyway, we're going to take a social media break, and we'll be back. Get social with TeamBoydTV. Like our Facebook page and join us every Sunday during the regular season for the TeamBoydTV Facebook halftime show. You can also follow us on Twitter at TeamBoydTV and at VernieB73. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at TeamBoydTV Turbo for all of our live shows, podcasts, among other things. Be sure to check out our Google Plus page for real-time status update and overall community discussion. TeamBoydTV is also on Instagram, Spreaker, and iTunes. Once again, thank you for watching TeamBoydTV. Okay, so listen. All right, so what I was saying was before the break, and this is kind of pretty much what I've been hearing every single offseason for the last 5 years. This is what I've been hearing, right? Oh my God, Roger Goodell. He is destroying the game. He making the game soft, this, that, and the third. Now listen, and I said some stuff. I done said some things too. Like that, because I remember we did a show on TeamBoydTV Live last season, and it was entitled "The No Fun League" because of he was emphasizing the celebrations and stuff, like the sack dances and all the celebrations and whatnot. And then there was a Jimmy Graham situation with the goal post and and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, as fans, we kind of get ticked off about stuff like that. But then real life serious stuff happens, right? Real life serious stuff, like people doing all type of drugs and people slapping up they wives and girlfriends and knocking people out unconscious in elevators. And then you got like last season, Riley Cooper running around hollering racial obscenities and whatnot. I mean, real stuff happens every once in a while that and it's funny because I think about it, like people will make a big fuss about the fact that you can't slam dunk a football over a goalpost, but then when somebody is at a country music concert yelling racial obscenities, nobody really they think it's funny and they laugh about it. Like it's not really that serious. What I mean? As fans, have we got to the point where all we really care about is what happens on Sunday, or do we care about the overall integrity of the shield of the sport that we love so much? And this is the thing that I've been thinking about, and I'm thinking because as fans I see everything and I read a whole lot of stuff and I hear what people have to say about certain things and I listen to the talking heads on TV and and everybody want to be politically correct about a lot of stuff, but at the same time there's real world issues going on, right? Real stuff is happening, real things are taking place. And they're bigger than what happens on the football field. I think the NFL shield, it represents more than pads and cleats. You feel what I'm saying? I think it's more than about quarterbacks and touchdown passes. The NFL is so big that it encompasses much more. And I think that Roger Goodell is doing an awesome job of eliminating a lot of these things that are trying to tarnish the game that we love. Now, why y'all guys talking about making a big deal about where they kicking the football off from on kickoffs, or how many inches they add into the goalpost for the field goals, or the illegal contact with wires? Why you guys are going on and on about that? Meanwhile, we got dudes in Pittsburgh hopping in the car, smoking all kind of weed, getting busted and whatnot. We got owners running into all this stuff, getting suspended, suspended and fined $500K for having illegal possession of narcotics and whatnot. See, this is real stuff. We're not talking about a little unknown player. We're talking about Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, getting caught up in the same kind of stuff. But yet and still, I don't see people going on and on about that. Nobody is talking that much about what Jim Irsay's suspension versus what we saw when people were talking about Ray Rice. You feel what I'm saying? It's weird to me. And I don't even really see as many people talking about Ray Rice as the people that were talking about the Jimmy Graham situation. It was crazy stuff to me. Now, I was upset last week. I was on one of my Prime Sports Talk Coalition, co-members class from Get With It Sports. He has a show called 2 Cents Deposit. I was on the show last week and we were talking about some stuff, and I was going on a tangent because the one thing I was upset about was the fact that there was no standard, right, and that the fines and the suspension seemed to be like all over. They didn't make any sense to me. Like, how can you suspend this one guy for 2 games for dragging an unconscious woman out of an elevator, but then a week later you suspend a guy for a whole entire year for smoking weed, stuff like that. Justin says probably why he let Peyton go, he was on that stuff. You know what? I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? The dude looks shifty. I don't know. Maybe he was so afraid that Peyton was gonna air him out. I don't know. I'm just saying. He can have too many goodies up in his organization when he's a bad guy himself. You feel what I'm saying? But it's so weird to me. Like, and so I was upset on the show, on Glass's show, because there was no standards in the way the ruling or the disciplinary action was being dealt out. It was too varied. It was just like too all over the place. One guy gets 2 games for something that one person may deem a more punishable offense. Other people say, "Oh, it's not a big deal." Then the dudes with the drugs, they get punished the hardest. Where other people say, "Well, wait a minute. We got video footage of Pac-Man Jones, and we got video footage of Ray Rice. We got video footage of Riley Cooper." You know what I'm saying? And what's going on with that? So it was weird. Everybody was kind of at odds because some people felt like the offense was way more punishable than what it was. And other people felt like, what, dude, you're going way too far with some of this other stuff. And that's the point I was trying to make when I was on the show, is that if we're going to do this, if we're going to discipline these players and the people in the NFL, it has to be a black and white standard. You know what I'm saying? Like a book that everybody can open up and read and say, oh, okay, look, so if I do this, that, and the third, this is what's going to happen to me. You can't just sit around, like Josh Gordon was sitting around for a month and a half waiting to see what they were going to do to him. You know what I'm saying? Waiting for Alden Smith is another one. Sitting around, was waiting. I mean, yeah, he knew he acted a fool, and he hadn't done a bunch of stuff he had no business doing, which that's a whole other topic for another day. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was so crazy to me how these guys have been sitting around for months waiting on some disciplinary action to come down, and this dude just feel like one day he just wake up and be like, yo, I'm just going to suspend this guy for half the season. I'm going to suspend this other guy for like 2.5 games. And that's that right there. We can't do that. You know what I'm saying? That can't happen. That is bad for business. That is bad for the NFL. That's bad for the Shield. You feel what I'm saying? So, and that's where I wanted to kind of go with this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this podcast wasn't going to be super long because these are some subjects that we probably are going to be touching on in a little bit more detail later on tonight on TeamBoydTV Game Time, which I'm super excited about. And we're probably going to address it maybe once or twice a little bit as we go into week 1 of the regular season for TeamBoydTV Live with the fellas. So it should be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Pretty good. Hey, listen, Justin, man, you my man, 20 grand. You are always here. Anytime I go live, it seems like no matter what time of day I decide to do the podcast, you are always there. But it's a good thing that you would comment on TeamBoydTV.com versus YouTube, because I'm probably gonna go and edit this because of that stuff that happened in the middle. But listen, I want everybody to watch the video. Look, Game Time season premiere debuts tonight at 10 p.m. We got TeamBoydTV live on Wednesday at 8 p.m. We have a late night version of it. I'm excited about this because I got a lot to talk about on the Black and Blue podcast tomorrow night. It's one that you guys will not want to miss. I was watching a bunch of stuff the other day because I was supposed to give you guys the Black and Blue podcast like 2 days ago. But I got caught up watching some stuff on YouTube and listening to some things on TV and reading some crap on the internet, and I kind of lost it a little bit because I completely lost my cool. The things they were saying about my Panthers kind of boiled over, and the fact that I went through all that persecution live on my own show on TeamBoydTV Live last week about my Carolina Panthers. So trust me when I tell you, you do not want to miss tomorrow night's version of the Week 1 debut of the Black and Blue podcast. It is going to be epic because I'm going to be in full rant mode. And I'm telling you, there's some things on my chest that I got to let off. Again, I want to thank you guys for checking me out. Like I said, be sure to check out TeamBoydTV Game Time at 10 p.m. tonight. Should be fun. I will see you guys then. Y'all guys take it easy. Peace.
Never give up on a good thing. We stop it if we could, it's a hood thing. And now I'm like a major threat, cause I remind you of the things you were made to forget. Bringing noise to all my boys, know the real from the buses and the T-boys. And if you're up like a real G, fucking this if you feel me, I'll let you in it. Learn to survive in the 9-track. I make crime pay, I just make crime pay. Whatever it takes to live a stand, cause nobody else can give a damn. So we live like cage beats. Wait for the day to let the waves free. Still me till they kill me. I love it when they fear me. Holla if you hear 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 me. You're too near me. See it clearly. Holla if you hear me. You're too near me. See it clearly. Holla if you hear me. You're too near me, see it clearly, holla if you hear me. You're too near me, see it clearly, holla if you hear me.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta.
I love it when they fear me. Holla if you hear me. I love it when they fear me. Holla if you hear me.